Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Starflight Creations, where I talk about my cross stitching. My name is Matt. Um, Last video that I did was my end of the year whip parade for 2025, and while watching other people's whip parades I realized that a pretty standard thing that I didn't do was give an introduction. And a lot of people pointed out that a lot of people find new videos from those whip parades, so I figured I'd go ahead and give that introduction here. Um, I'm almost 38. I live outside of Portland, Oregon. Um, I originally got into cross stitching by my mom. She taught me when I was 5, and then I picked it back up again in 2017. Needing something to do at my lunch breaks. I started with just little kits for people's birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, whatnot. And then I found a Facebook group that was doing stitch alongs, and I got really into that. And then from the comments of that, I found Flosstube, and that led me down a rabbit hole that I have never made it out of yet. So, I'm first going to talk about a giveaway I received. Then I'll go over my current whips, which are works in progress. Then I will do the drawing for the giveaway from my last actual Flosstube video. And then I'll go over my plans. So I typically go over my whips as I worked on them throughout the week. Well, first of all, giveaway. So the last Flosstube video I had, I was talking about how I was on a giveaway I had won a giveaway from my friend Megan, and I was waiting for that to come in, and that one did, which was this really cool little resin maple leaf. Now, I don't know if this is just my bad memory, but I swear when she was holding the one that she had up, that it was just a little wooden needle minder, which I thought was amazing. But I was seriously blown away when I got this, because it is a magnet with resin. It just looks so professionally done. I was just shocked. So I was blown away to get that. And then she did include these two nice little stickers of acorns. And then they did have her Flosstube channel there on the back. So if you have not gone, which I will have linked down below, if you have not gone and seen her video, I would definitely recommend her joy and enthusiasm for cross stitch just comes through in every single one, and she just loves learning and sharing the craft. So after receiving her giveaway, I got her the ornament that I had made her into the mail. It was a ornament that I did off of a Teresa Winsler ornament book that I had found. It was all sorts of little fancy stitches and blended threads and beading, and so I, of course, did what I normally do and got all excited by sending it off, finished it up, shoved it into the mailer and sent it off. I didn't take a single picture of it, so I don't have anything to show you for the final of it. I just did a lace backing of it in the frame that I had stitched it in, and then did whip stitch a piece of felt down to the back of it. I've done the same thing for the ornament I gave my mom at Christmas, and I don't know why, but that one seemed to work much better than this one. For some reason the black felt just worked, and the yellow felt seemed to stretch a lot more. So still gonna have some learning to do there. But then for the first piece that I've worked on since my whip parade was my round robin piece. So I am in a round robin hosted by Jason X Stitches here on Flosstube. Back in the summer, he put out a call for anybody who would be interested in a round robin, and then he took all the people who said they were interested and put them into groups of 4, and then let the groups decide how they were going to do the round robin. And our group decided that we were each going to choose a pattern, split it up however seemed to make the most sense, and then do our portion of it and then send it along so the other 3 people could work on it. So we finished the first one, and so I sent off mine and then received someone else's to work on. The person's that I received was Joan, and hers is Beach Patchwork by Chardin Privé. And here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. Now, this one I haven't been freaking out over the amount of stitches that I need to do, just because it's a much smaller pattern than like the one I chose or a couple of the other ones that have been chosen. So I'm not feeling the pressure with this one, but I have also been feeling like I've just been ignoring it and leaving it alone, and I really wanted to get it back out and work on it. So I managed to do that. My goal was to work on it once a week. I did not manage to get that done. However, I had plans to work on it 100 stitches, and I did get 208 stitches in onto this, so that basically was like working on it 100 stitches every week. So here's what it's looking like now. So I went up and finished this set of waves and took that all the way across, and then put in the sail of the sailboat. And then I went back up here and here into the border and put all of the little chevrons in all the way down to the side. And then I came in and started extending this airplane banner across. And I don't have a picture of what this one's going to look like, because I think the only one I have is the one that shows the actual pattern. But there's not a whole lot more to get done in this. I mean, as always, there's more than you think there is when you just look at it, but I'm also not feeling like I'm still behind, even though I've barely touched it. I do, the next time I pull it out, want to go in and do the back stitch lines that mark out the borders and get that all the way through my side, and then after that I can kind of break it off and be like, oh, each time I pull it off I need to finish this motif, and then I can make sure I'm not getting behind. And so since it is a paper pattern, I don't have an exact amount of stitches that's going to be, but last time I had put in 166 stitches, and this time I put in 208 stitches to make a total of 374 stitches that have been put into this so far. So that is my round robin one. So the next one was my unofficial whip from last year, or from the whip parade if you saw it, because I took in 12 official whips into the new year, and then I said I had one unofficial one because I had barely started this one, because I didn't have an exact plan for it yet, and then my plan kind of came together. So I decided that this year I wanted to do um, a reading tracker. And so this is the book reading tracker by the Stir Crazy Stitcher. I had just 80 stitches into it when I had it last, or the last time I showed it on the Whip Parade. So now I put 374 stitches into this. So now it's up to 454 out of 1,000 stitches, and those 1,000 stitches are just the actual bookcase itself. And then you'll go in and backstitch the books and then color them in. So I did get all of the top done. So that is as wide as it is. And then I got January's shelf done, and I'm almost finished with February's. I just have half of a shelf to continue taking the lines through, and then I'll have that one done. I had taken this one to work, and I was working on it there, and so I was just doing it during my lunches and breaks at work, and so it was only 2 days. This one is on just basic 14 count wide Ada. So I really want to continue working on that and get that in. But also, so far in January, I have not finished a book. I've read parts of it, like 5 of them, but I haven't finished any of them because I've been just coming home and cross-stitching every day. So I do want to get more in there. I know that I'm not going to get, because like a couple of years ago I got like 350 books that I read in a year, but like at the time I also wasn't, like I was cross-stitching, but I wasn't doing a whole lot of cross-stitching. So it feels like if I do a whole lot of reading, then I don't do any cross-stitching, and if I do a whole lot of cross-stitching, I'm not doing any reading. So I would like to try and find a balance, but I've also kind of decided that like if I don't fill out the full 31 books to fill out January, I won't mind. I'm kind of waiting to put, even if I hadn't done, I'd probably wait to put any of them in, because I do kind of want to like scatter the books throughout the shelves and maybe throw in like little potion bottles or small little knickknacks in between to fill up the empty spaces if I don't get up to 31 books. I do have a book club going with my friends, where each of us is just each month throwing out a suggestion of a book like we really recommend people read, and then you've got a list of books that you could read. And my friend Debbie has thrown out a book basically just to make me actually finish it. It's Dies the Fire by S.M. Sterling. I've been on chapter 3 for like a year, so I really need to finish that one. So that might be my first finish of January of reading, is getting that one finished in for her. So then House of Book Dragons. This is what it will look like when it's finished. It is by the Stitch Crypt. I am doing this on 14 count Ada that I hand dyed myself. It is 5,933 stitches. So the last time you saw it, it looked like this, and I had 2,543 stitches for 42.9%. I have basically done monogamous stitches on this one. It's just been, this year so far has just been really, I want to say blah. Just a lot of stress at work, and then, you know, cold weather, gloomy. I just haven't really had a whole lot of extra energy, so when I get home it's been in my bag to take to work, and so it's just easy to just grab it and keep working on it rather than having to go and pull anything out and figure out how to start and whatnot. So I have put in 3,105 stitches on it, bringing it up to 5,648 stitches. And it has gotten 13 days worth of work on it in 2026. And so where that brings me is to here. So I am really excited about this piece. I really love the way that the colors worked out the second time on my dragon. Because after I had the frog that the first time, I re-chose my colors, and I really feel like they work a lot better now. And I've really finished up a lot of the various elements in it. I just have up here on the top the outline of this book to put in, and then down here on this one I need to outline that book as well, and then this potion bottle here needs to get its little sides put in, and then after that it's just putting in the dark leaves down onto the second half of the piece. And so I have 285 stitches left on that, so I will be excited to have that as my first finish in 2026, and then I can get up on the wall. Like I said in my last video, I do want to switch around my room, so then hopefully this will be on the other side of the room, and so I'll have a different background, and so I'm hoping to get more things up on the wall, so that way, not that I have kept a whole lot of my stitching. Most of my stitching has been stitches that I made for others and gave away, but I have now got a couple of pieces that I can get framed and put up on the wall, and I would like to have them behind me. So I'm looking forward to get that done before the end of the year, or the end of the month, end of the year. Alright, and so that will lead into my Darkthorn Keep. So, Darkthorn Keep is a stitching game that I made taking inspiration from Jessie Marie's Does Stuffs here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. She's got a lot of things that she created. She created Whipco, she's created a bunch of things, and she does a bunch of other things that other people have created. But she created a game called Milestone Manor, which had a whole bunch of rules and whatnot that she'd put out that were all designed to get milestones on her project. So way back in October, when she was first talking about it, she hadn't revealed a whole lot of information on it. She was like, I'm going to give you a how-to later after I work out some of the kinks. But I was just so in love with the setup of it, but also a lot of my projects are, while they're really big projects, full coverages, a lot of them are at really small new starts. So I wasn't really looking to hit those milestones. I just wanted something that would make it so I would go and pick them up, and something that would get me to put a bunch of work onto it, even if I didn't feel like working on it at that moment. So I just wanted something that would keep me stitching. So that's why I chose Darkthorn Keep, because I felt like my projects were in the dark and I wanted to keep stitching on them. So I kind of made my own game, just taking inspiration from hers. So like hers, it kind of has a D&D feel to it, where as you go into a room, a project is discovered to be the boss of that room, and then you roll to figure out how many stitches you have to use to defeat the boss. So the last time that I had played Darkthorn Keep, because I did stop it for December. I wanted to give myself time to do some Christmas stitching and whatnot. And during the month of December, I kept really missing it. So that's how I knew I really wanted to pick this back up in 2026. But in it, I had... Well, first of all, I had chosen my party. And so my party had started, like most adventurers start, at the road and started exploring my way in. And since I had started in October, I felt, well, I started right at the end of October, but I still felt like I wanted to commemorate that spooky October season. So I started at the graveyard. And so I had made my way through here, exploring the various rooms, defeating the projects that were inside. And after the graveyard, I decided that it only made sense that you would then reach the church. And so the last time I came in here, I just came in here and was exploring this main section of the church in the first room. And so then I made my way up to the left-hand side of this picture and was exploring this little room in there. And so I rolled, or spun, because I have a Tiny Decisions wheel that has all of my projects on it. And so I spun that and got Threads of Deceit. Threads of Deceit is a murder mystery cell from 2024, put on by stitchingly.com. It was my first time doing a mystery cell, and I kept up with it for the first installment. I think it was coming out like every 2 weeks or so, so I think it was like the first 2 weeks I did that, everything was good, and then the second 2 weeks one dropped and I got halfway through that and stopped and never picked it back up again. So when I rolled on this, I got 400 stitches. So I had the flowers were all part 1, and then this part here was all part 2. So I had just a basic start over here of the brown. I think I was up to about there. And so I went in and put in the rest of this, and then got the yellow in here, and that was 2. And so then I came in here and started 3, and got this about halfway done. So I believe that this one is going to say the best stitches are made with, and then have another heart. This one was called to have this color, but since I had chosen all my own colors, I didn't really know what these ones were. I just had a bundle that I got out of like a friendship making bracelet kit that someone had given me, because they were like, oh, you cross stitch, you use thread. And so I hadn't used it for anything, because I'm like, I don't know what colors these are. I'm not going to throw them into a normal project. But I felt like for the size that this was, that they'd be perfect. And so I just was grabbing the color and using it. So, but I didn't feel like the heart should be blue. So I went ahead and used the other red from the flowers to just do that. And I'm really hoping that they will give me one more color. Because I have 3 more sections here. So it's for 1, 2, because there are 6 sections, so I'm in the 3rd one. And so I have 3 more sections. So I'm hoping to get one more color, because there is a really nice teal color that I was looking to use. But so I did get my 400 stitches on this. Well, putting in 401 stitches just to finish the thread. So I was excited to get in to kill that boss and break that room. And then back when I was doing this before, I would have just gone in and immediately spun. But since I've been working on House of Book Dragons pretty solidly. I decided that since by the time I got this one spun and finished, it was Tuesday. I think Tuesday into Wednesday. And so I decided that I wasn't going to spin it again because I wanted to keep the weekend, because my weekend is Wednesday, Thursday. I wanted to keep that to put into some of my others. So I didn't. So last time it had 485 stitches. I put in 401, so we're now at 886 stitches total. So now we need to figure out what the new one for the next room will be, because if we look at the church, I have 2 more rooms here in this church. The big one with the cross up in it, and then the basement that goes down. And then I have to decide what I want to do next. If I want to try and go and follow down and use that as my motivation for what the next map will be, or if I want to explore something else. The moment, I think that I'm going to keep that as a motivation and maybe go into down like some catacombs or something, but I haven't made up my mind yet. I will probably do that once I finish exploring this room. But we will go ahead. I have my tiny decisions wheel, if it will not glare. So we will go ahead and spin that. And so we have got Dragon's Lair. So that is fun. So that one will be the next one that I will work on over the next week. I will go ahead and do my roll. I roll a d6 and then times that by 100. So whatever number I get, that many 100 stitches I will put into it. And so that will be nice, because I think I don't have the numbers on hand, but I do think that I'm only at like, say, 600, maybe up to 700 on Dragon and Slayer. So that will basically double what I have currently in there. So that will be fun. And then the other spin that I need to do right now is for my rewards. So last time I had just leveled up to level 2. I got 1,050 experience points. So I reached level 2, which increased my health. It also increased the amount that the bosses hit me. So my health went up to 200, and the bosses went from hitting for 100 to hitting 150. So they aren't quite an auto death to me now with one hit. But one of the things I did throw in there was penalties. So if for some reason I don't stitch for a day, that will be a penalty. And so that will create a smaller monster that will generate, and I will have to get an extra 100 stitches in on the boss to kill that monster. And meanwhile, those monsters hit me for the standard 100 hit points. So it will take a while before I'll be able to survive a boss and a monster attacking me at the same time. But so far in 2026, I have stitched every single day. So I did earn myself a reward, because I also have a rewards wheel. And so I get to spend on it if I do things like stitch every day of the week, stitch more than 300 stitches on a focus project, work on one of my other hobbies like writing my book or doing a crochet project. Just that way I don't feel like I'm only, if I don't do some cross stitching, I'm just doing everything aside. I can earn some other rewards. So I earned a reward there for stitching every single day of the week. And so I earned free stitches. So I can put in 100 stitches on any other project other than Dragon's Wheel, and it will still count as 100 stitches on Dragon's Lair. And at the moment, I still have, I believe, I still have that. Yes, I have one familiar and one save point. So a familiar means that I can send it ahead and it will explore a room, and so I can determine whether or not I want to go into that room. So this worked out great in the graveyard where I had 2 rooms on opposite sides of the thing. At the time I had 2 familiars, so I sent one to each, figured out what was in each room, and decided which order I wanted to go into it. Of course, I decided to go into it in the same order that I had chosen them, so it didn't really matter, but it could have mattered. This time I haven't used it because everything's kind of linear so far, so there's not really anywhere else for me to go to choose it. And the save point just means that I have one day where if I don't do any stitching, I can use that and it won't generate a monster. I am trying to decide if I want to carry that with me into 2026. At the moment, I'm really feeling like I don't, so I may just drop that save point. Just because I've been pretty good at stitching every single day, and I kind of want to keep the momentum forward. And just kind of, it feels right to my brain to keep 1 year with that year and not carry things like that forward, but we'll see. So, then for my giveaway. So when I had originally found House of Book Dragons by the Stitch Crypt, I had found it as a paper pattern in my LNS, local nail workshop, Acorns and Thread, and it was not available as a PDF, so I bought the paper chart, which reminded me how much I hate working from paper charts. So at one point when I was going to the Stitch Crypt to look for something else, I noticed that they had uploaded House of Book Dragons as a PDF, and so I went ahead and purchased it that way. So I decided to put it up as a giveaway on my last Flosstube, just kind of as a thank you to the people who had subscribed, because I just hit 50 subscribers. We are still at 50 subscribers, so that is fun. We did go up 1 and lose 1, but we are still at 50, so that is good. So I did go ahead and do the comment picker. Unfortunately, I thought I was recording, and instead I was taking a picture. So I only have the picture of the giveaway, but Tonurkan6914, you did win the House of Book Dragons. So I will have my email and Instagram down in the comments, not in the comments, in the description bar. So if you would like to go ahead and reach out to me and give me your address and verify that you're over 18, I will be more than happy to get this sent to the mail to you. And so that brings me to the end of all of my current stitching, and so now I just have plans. So this month's plan. I was supposed to start 2 things. One, I was supposed to start back in December. I had decided that my new start that I was going to do with the keys I had earned back then, because every single time a boss dies in Dark Dawn Keep, it drops a key. If I get 5 of them, I earn a new start. So with the 5 keys, I decided I was going to do a new start, and I had decided what that was going to be because my mom for Christmas got me Night and Day by Yasu Art Studios, and so I decided I really wanted to give this start this. I did see this when it was first dropped way back when, but at the time AI was just kind of blowing up, and I really wasn't sure if it was AI. I really didn't have all the knowledge at the time, so I just kind of waited on it. Since then, I've kind of got a little bit more educated about AI. I went in and did my research. As far as I can tell, this is not AI generated. Yasu Artwork is a Japanese watercolorist and digital artist. So as far as I can tell, he does not state anywhere that AI is used in any of his products or in any of his designs, or the design process. So I'm hoping that, like America, Japan is also requiring the same things, and so there will be no AI in this. So I decided I was going to go ahead and start that. But with how busy everything's been and how little energy I haven't actually started it yet. Another start I was supposed to have was supposed to be my New Year's Eve start. And so I chose Penance. By Long Dog Samplers. This is what it's going to look like. I decided I was going to do mine on a gold fabric with gray floss. And so I got some fabric, got it in, went ahead and dyed it. And this was the first time that my hand dyeing did not turn out the way I was expecting it, or at least I wasn't really excited with the way it turned out. So, this is what the fabric turned out to be. So as you can see, it's orange. It is very orange. I'm not quite sure what I did with it. It was a canary yellow that I was using with a bare slash of the orange tangerine red dye. But it definitely came out very orange. And so I threw it into the washing machine and then dried it, and I was going to just go ahead and give a start on it anyways because I was like, I want to start. But it was fraying so badly, so I sent it to a friend to get it serged because I was like, there's no way on earth I am going to let this just fray away. And then it came back, and I tried to dye it again with some more yellow, hoping I could tone down the orange. Now the way that looks in the camera, I would love the way if it looked like that, but it does not. But it really didn't tone it down. It has, through the second wash, kind of gotten a little bit more relaxed. And so I sat with it for a few days. It didn't get served when I wanted it to because I had to get it serged, and then just because it didn't turn out the color I was expecting, I kind of sat with it trying to decide what I wanted to do. And then I work at Walmart, and we had a bunch of floss go on clearance. Where did my flossies go? Oh, okay, you'll have to hold on a second. My flosses decided to fly away. Well, there's one of them. Alright. Okay, so we had 2 flosses go on clearance, so I was able to get a bunch of them. So one of them is 939, and the other is 820. And so I have decided that for pennants, I'm going to use the 939 on the border, and then I will use the 820 on the things inside of the border. And I'm just going to try and be forgiving myself on this, because sometimes, since it's all just one thing, it can kind of be trying to tricky decide, is this border, is this not border. I'm just going to go away with it. And if a lot more of it turns into 939 than turns into 820, I'm just going to be fine with that. But I am looking to get that one started. But I had bought a little wooden advent calendar, and my plans for WhipGo was I was going to put in 24 projects into it, and then as Jesse Movie calls out numbers for the WhipGo, I was going to figure out what that project was, and I would start that project in that month. And so I'd have 2 new starts a month. With these ones not being started with they are, and with how long that it's taking this advent calendar to come in, and since I already basically found out the numbers for the January, even though I tried really hard to avoid the spoilers, but some people didn't feel like labeling their stuff, I decided I was just going to go ahead and do pennants and night and day in those 2 boxes, and they will be my new starts for January. So I'm hoping to, in this next week, get started on them. I'm figuring maybe I'll start one in 1 week, and the next week, and just, I'm figuring once the advent calendar gets here, if I start the project and manage to get 500 stitches into it in its month, then I will go ahead and put $5 into that calendar, and then at the end of the year I will have a bunch of money to use for cross stitching. I may not get any of those, any money in for January, because it's already almost half the month has gone by and I haven't started any of them. And I will have another new start at the end of the month. The 31st is my birthday. It is also Selena's birthday from Spicy Selena Stitches. And we met at the Jingle Ball during the speed dating rooms. And so we decided, since we both have a birthday of January 31st and we both like stitching on dragons, that we were going to do a dragon stitch along for our birthdays. So we have both put that up on Instagram, and Selena has dropped it onto her Flosstube. So I encourage anybody who's interested to please either start a new start with a dragon or pull out a whip that has a dragon and join us in this stitching. Please use the hashtag #BDayDragonSal and tag me and Selena so we can see what you're stitching on and have a whole bunch of dragon goodness. So I will be stitching on Year of the Dragon by Yasu artwork. Hold on a second. I forgot to upload the image of that. So let me just do that really fast because I kind of want to show that one. So this is what it will look like when it is finished. I did get this one. Heaven and Earth Designs did release this as a freebie back in 2024 for the Year of the Dragon. And so I am going to start that one on my birthday. He did just drop on Heaven Night Designs the Year of the Snake, and that one has the similar. I mean, it looks basically the same as that. It's got the whole mountain vibes with the smoke, and it just is a snake instead of a dragon. And so I am highly considering buying that, and then having that one as a companion piece to Year of the Dragon. Um, but when I'd actually start that, I don't know. And that is why I have in my whip go, because I buy a lot of things because I'm like, oh, I love this pattern. I really want the stitches. And if I don't immediately start it, it just sits in my stash. So I'm not really too much worried about getting a whole bunch of new starts. Right now, I bought 12 starts in, and I'm imagining that at least a couple of those will leave before the end of 2026. But 2026 will have at least 25 new starts, probably maybe a couple more. So I'm not really worried too much about new starts this year, but I would like to do something to help get me out of my stashes and into actually working on these. And so the way that I've decided that it's going to go is I will not add it into the list of Darkthorn Keep until Darkthorn Keep has ran through its entire amount, and so it's getting ready to reset, and it has to have its 500 stitches after its start for its start to then be eligible to be added into the rotation of Darkthorn Keep. And then other plans, once a House of Book Dragons ends here shortly, I kind of had a couple of ideas for what would replace it as a focus piece besides the round robin. And one of them was my nostalgic tarot frame. This is what it looks like when it's finished with all of the cards. I am going to the Children of the Thread retreat in April in Colorado. The Witchy Stitcher is the main designer there, and there are a bunch of people who have completely stitched this with all of the cards, and they will be taking theirs and kind of taking a group picture with a bunch of them. So I kind of want to take mine and kind of have it as far as long as possible so it doesn't look really pathetic next to theirs. But so far in the last 2 weeks I have put no stitches into it. So I was thinking maybe that would replace it. But then I was also thinking my living room set number 2. This is a piece that is my furthest along piece after House of Book Dragons. I believe it has somewhere in like 80% done. It's got 7,000 stitches left, and some of those are tent stitches. So that one could be completed, and I do have the full set, and this is the first one I started with, so I would kind of like to get it done and then be able to move on to one of the other common rooms. But there also is a ton of backstitch in this one, and I have done none of it. So I don't know. I'm kind of hovering on that. At the moment, the way I'm leaning towards is putting tarot as my focus point until April, when the retreat is, and then after that moving the focal point to living room. But like I said, I haven't fully worked that one out yet. I might try and make the living room my one to take to work, but I also have a couple of crochet projects that I normally take to work, so I haven't fully decided on that one yet. So I will keep you guys updated on that. I will record my next video in 2 weeks on Friday, and I will get that one posted. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.